College football returns official today, but on Saturday we have the big games. And of course, college football is brought to you, as usual, by the mafia bosses at the NCAA. But this is going to be a special season because it reminds me of the old childhood rhyme. The Tom Allen bone is connected to the Jim Knowles bone that's connected to the Matt Patricia bone. This is going to be a season that is going to be top tier defenses matching up with top tier receiver rooms, with playmakers trying to see if they mesh up with the play callers, whether you're a young quarterback or you're a fifth or sixth year senior. This is going to be a season to see which defenses can actually penetrate and see if the receivers can actually penetrate the defenses. And just remember, it's the beginning of the season. So if your high-powered offense isn't clicking the way you think it should, that's okay. The defenses are the ones that should be fresh, ready to go, banging heads, taking names. The offenses will get it together eventually. Guys, we're talking college football, weekend games. We're talking about NFL trade news. And, of course, we are talking baseball. This is your Friday Junior edition of Box Scores and Bourbon. Let's get it going.
Look at the box scores.
Box Scores and Bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
Baseball, box scores.
So football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box Scores and Bourbon.
Ooh, a double dose.
Well, a little hiccup there on the music, I guess.
Love
JV,
it.
welcome back. Welcome back to another fancy episode of Box Scores and Bourbon.
Hey, I got one message for you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this.
Well, on the note of let's go, cheers. Cheers, everyone.
my man.
Welcome back.
Link.
I know you missed us.
Oh,
Well, it is week 0 happened last week, right? That's how they.
week
I-
0 happened.
I
Iowa
don't like.
State. It was at Iowa State.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
beat Kansas State. Kansas
Yeah.
State's
In
Uh,
Ireland, that was the Ireland game that nobody's happy about.
Kansas State's play calling smells like a dirty butthole playbook. It's just terrible play calling. It's
Do you, before diving into games, do you like the international college game?
I mean, I like international games. I'd like the games to be somewhere, you know. I mean, football's an American sport.
Yep.
We should not be, like baseball. We open in Japan. That makes sense. Nothing wrong with that. But football is an American entity. Why are we outsourcing what we created to begin the season with? It makes zero sense.
I don't
to me.
understand.
And if you're gonna
I'm not
have
a fan of
an international game, at least make it not Kansas State and Iowa State. I mean, make it. We're just throwing the international people a bone. Oh yeah, you can have a game. How about How about these guys?
Was it last year we kicked off the week 0? I think it was week 0. With Notre Dame going to Ireland, and I thought that was kind of a little clever with the Fighting Irish being in Ireland.
That actually makes some sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not a historian, but I think the Irish originated in Ireland.
I think so.
That's why we call them the Irish. But I don't know what a cyclone has anything to do with Ireland.
You know what the connection is with the Cyclones in Ireland is the fact that they were pretty much playing in a field that had just gotten hit by a cyclone because it was a swampy mess and it was rainy and it was wet weather. That was part of the reason why I didn't like the matchup in Ireland. I saw clips of them trying to repaint the lines like multiple times at halftime and trying to make somewhat of a playable field throughout the entire game. Like if we're relying on that type of like on the spot corrections and modifications, is it
Mhm.
is it really that important to have that game there when the field is obviously not really capable of hosting a game? That was part of my gripe. But secondly, I get the international factor of it all, of spreading the football entertainment because you don't want to keep it contained. You want to make it a world sport. Sure, fine, whatever. But like make it make sense in a way, like we just said, like Notre Dame in Ireland, that was cool. Like find a connection with the people. Like even in the NFL, they're just starting to sign up teams to play an international game. It's almost like every team is gonna be guaranteed to play an international game every 4 years or whatever the math is. But at least make it make sense. Like the regions or whatever, not like the partnerships that they make with the countries. Make that make sense. Whatever we saw last week, not a fan. But let's talk about college football in
I
general.
mean, I would like to see the San Francisco Institute wontons open up the season in China. That'd be cool. But no. Maybe we won't. Giant egg rolls, mascot. That'd be
Where were the
pour
Florida
soy
State
sauce?
Sentinels?
Pour soy sauce on the coach when he wins.
Where were the Sentinels? The Florida State Sentinels make sense to play internationally.
The Florida? No, I said the San Francisco Institute.
No, I know, but I'm asking you a follow-up question on
the Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, that Indian tribe that's like so like that's like off the coast of Africa. I think it is that. It's
the Cannibal tribe.
Yeah, we should play there. That's where we should play. Yeah, they have tomahawks. I mean, we can go pound for pound.
They will be doing a lot of this when they're
pound
playing.
for pound. Duh! Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, let's get right into college football because I am quite excited for this season, and I try following college football for the sake of us having a good conversation about it, but also because it has a good different change up from what you tend to see in the NFL. This year, I feel like I am way more about the season than I was the last couple of years, and there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the biggest reasons is the fact that there's actual competition where your record does matter, your ranking does matter. Not every team has a chance, but hypothetically, every team has a very good chance of playing for the national championship. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. This is actually a really sweet slate of games coming up this weekend. Of course, the big game, Michigan and UNM. That's going to be, that's so near and dear to my heart. I have a lot of people that I can't stand who are Michigan fans, and I am a Lobo.
Heck so yes, you are.
This, I can't wait for the Lobos to cover the 50-point spread, and then count it as a victory. We will chalk this
49 points. 49 points spread. I called into ESPN Radio yesterday for a like they were doing some giveaway, and they asked me about how excited I was for college football, and also how I felt about the UNM spread against Michigan this weekend. And I was blunt with them. I told them I'm staying away from those points. Michigan and UNM, like the new coach for UNM, Coach Eck, right? It doesn't seem like it's going to bode well for UNM to be able to cover 49 points at any point in the season. And surprisingly, at the same time, it is also one of the games that I'm actually kind of looking forward to watching.
Yeah. I'm not expecting UNM to do much. I just want to see how they play. I want to see this new regime from Idaho come in here, and you got head coach, offensive assistant, quarterback all coming in from Idaho, and I just want to see how they click. I mean, honestly, I just if UNM can score 10 points, I think they'll cover.
On that
defense. I think they'll cover. I could see this being like 49 to. This feels like a 49 to nothing game. So even if they get a field goal, I mean they cover. That's awesome.
I mean,
So,
unless they take out the starters, like it shouldn't be that unreasonable to say like they could put up 49 points. I hate to bash on our local team, but like
yeah.
it's going to be somewhat of a softball game for Michigan. But there is some exciting factors behind it being Michigan that UNM is playing, because Michigan is coming out of the controversy that finally got closed out with the what do you want to call it? Cheating?
This witch hunt.
Yeah.
That's years old. Mike, can we shut up about it already? This is just absolutely ridiculous. You know what this is? These are Ohio State alums that are working in the shadows because they're pissed off that they can't beat Michigan. That's all this is. That's all this is. It's absolutely ludicrous. Look, the Connor Stallions thing. I thought we took care of. I thought it was done.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was already done. I thought in this country we had a thing called double jeopardy. You can't be charged for the same crime twice. So I thought we took care of this already, even as ludicrous and just asinine as it was the first time. I feel like Vince Vaughn, erroneous on all accounts. It just can we just put it to bed?
I think the NCAA is like writhing in their tomb because they weren't able to do anything to Jim Harbaugh, because like all this controversy brewed, and then he jumped ship and went to the NFL, so they like couldn't touch him. So they're like,
all right, Jim, you can't come back for a while. Bad.
Yeah,
sounds
2
great.
years. I have a 5-year contract. I think I'm okay.
Yeah, you don't think I already lived in San Diego? All right, I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I'm fine. Okay, yeah. I will stay where I'm at.
Especially after the success he's already having. I don't think he's looking to go back into the college football. But not only the drama behind Michigan with the whole controversy of that, there's also a quarterback hype that we can kind of talk about a little bit, with Bryce Underwood being the freshman starter for Michigan, which was a 5-star recruit for Michigan. He's supposed to be like the big deal of college quarterbacks this year. They're saying he should be the type of hype that he's getting, the type of attention and the type of skill set that he brings matches up with the attention that Cooper Flagg had last year in college basketball. Comparisons are that in nature.
Yeah, I don't like talking about Bryce Underwood. He is Voldemort to me. I don't know how. I mean, I get it. Michigan's got the most wins out of any program. Okay, whatever. Whoop-de-doo. Who cares? All right, but good luck with your sanctions over there, Bryce. I hope it works out for you.
This has nothing to do with the fact that he backed out of his commitment to LSU, right?
No, it's because his favorite color is maize and blue. That's why. It's not. No, he's a fan of the wrong shade of yellow. I don't even understand. Like, you had the best color scheme already, and you left for an inferior one. What?
Blue and purple, or
no one looks good in maize and blue. It's purple and gold, baby.
Purple and gold, yellow and blue. Do they consider themselves yellow and blue or gold and blue?
No, it's Michigan is the maize and blue. See, even there they got to be like land acknowledgments. We got to call it, corn the indigenous way. Hey, shut up. Like, okay, look, purple and gold. Okay, it's simple, it's easy. Okay, it's English. All right, just
wait. Can you remind me what's on the board behind you, and then tell me about English again?
This is English. This is the correct spelling. Okay, that is how you spell the word O. E-A-U-X. Okay, that's it.
Sound it out. Duh, it's obvious. E-A-U-X.
O. Like, it's an O. That's clearly an O. Every vowel fits into the letter O. Okay? It's like The Office. They said pyramid, a shape that contains all other shapes. No, that's not true. But O, the letter O. Okay?
Anyways, focusing on football, not our English translations of stuff. This is going to be, I think, is going to be a good matchup just because of the hype. Coach Eck is building a strong presence with UNM football. I think he's built a lot of attention for UNM football, something that the last few coaches have failed to do. They focused on, bringing the attention to the football program as a whole and creating excitement for it. They're playing a huge, huge school for his welcome to UNM, which could backfire on them if they look like complete garbage. Yeah. But it's going to be a primetime game, which gives them a great opportunity if they cover or if they put up some sort of a fight. If somehow it works out that they can, keep up with Michigan, whatever that looks like for UNM. If they can manage to do something like that, it's a great attention for UNM. And again, on the Michigan side with their freshman quarterback, maybe that is one of the things that could cause this game to be a little bit more exciting than what we expect, because a freshman quarterback leading your team game one, there has to be some settling in that they could possibly take advantage of.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about just to see what Jason Eck does at UNM. He was at Idaho for the last 3 years as the head coach.
And then North Dakota before that.
Yeah, and so what he did at Idaho was successful, and being able to take a school like that and kind of bring it out of anonymity. It's Division II, but it's still it's football. He brings his offensive assistants, he brings his quarterback here. So I'm really with Jack Lane, that's the quarterback's name. I'm just and it is fun to be able to, like you said, your first game as head coach, and you're like, okay, Michigan, give us our bag of money to fly out to Ann Arbor just to get our butts wiped. Let's do this. We're ready for this. But on the other hand, Michigan did lose a season opener to Appalachian State several years back. Yep. So I'm not saying we're App State, but hey, anything can happen.
Especially
except UNM winning this game. That won't happen. But a lot of things could happen. They
could cover. Was that one of your highlight games to watch this weekend, or do you have another go-to game?
No, I have 5 that I want to highlight.
Okay.
One's kind of under the radar. This first game's more about just the controversy surrounding the head coach and the
North
fact
Carolina.
No, not that. No, he can go bang his Twitter model. This is about Hugh Freeze at Auburn, just getting in trouble with his mouth and saying, hey, I think the goal is the playoffs. No, the goal is not the playoffs. The goal is to win. And I can understand why Hugh Freeze would say something like that. He said this, I think, like a month ago or some stuff. And so it's not setting the bar too high, but not setting it too low, I guess.
Yeah.
Where if you don't win a natty, then it's like, oh, well, then you failed at your goal. But if you make the playoffs, you can't exactly celebrate making the playoffs because you're freaking Auburn. You should make the playoffs. I like this matchup because this is Jackson Arnold for Auburn against Sawyer Robertson for Baylor. Sawyer, new kid on the block. Jackson Arnold, not really, a great season last year, really underperformed. But Auburn does have a top 3 receiving room. You got Coleman, Singleton, and Thompson in that receiver room. And so Jackson Arnold should have no shortage of options to go to. And so if anything, they can, all 3 of them can be security blankets for Jackson Arnold. We'll see what happens with this offense. And because honestly, this receiver room is really like the brightest thing about this squad, about this team. And like I said at the top, this season is going to be about top tier defenses against top tier receiving rooms. So having the opportunity to go against, and then I mean, look, I know Dave Aranda was on the hot seat last season, but Baylor finished with that 6-game win streak, and they finished, I think, within a game of winning the Big 12 last year. So, and I mean, look, I'm fond of Dave Aranda just because of his time as the DC at LSU, and so if anyone knows defense, it's Aranda. He knows defense. So this is going to be an interesting cat and mouse game to see. Okay, can the Baylor D slow down these receivers? I think if that Baylor D can somehow get to Jackson Arnold, kind of just make him a little bit a little uneasy, make him a little upset in the tum-tum. That could kind of spell some good things for Baylor. I do have Auburn winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Auburn absolutely has the talent to beat Baylor. It is in Waco, Texas, so they are on the road. But look, at some point, Auburn, and really Hugh Freeze is going to have to put up or shut up. And so, I mean, Auburn, they made the decision to bring Hugh Freeze back to the SEC. So let's, this season has to be a season, and it has to be a season where, they actually make a statement, and it's going to start with Jackson Arnold. It's going to start with him, and depending on how he gets his wheels rolling, and the wheels on the bus go round and round. Well, the wheels on the bus is named Jackson Arnold, and those wheels are the receivers. So let's see if we can actually get Miss Frizzle in the driver's seat to drive it all the way to the playoff.
Well, the wheels on the bus sometimes also fall off, so we have to see what
they do.
It does seem weird that for the last, what has it been since Auburn has been really has it been really since Cam Newton left that Auburn has really been in the conversation for being able to compete for a championship? Has it been that long?
I mean, at that level, yeah. I mean, Cam Newton he's freaking. I mean, talk about all-time great season.
Yeah,
I mean, Cam Newton, man.
But it almost feels like regularly like Auburn should be in that type of conversation, and they have not been in that type of conversation. The pedigree that school has should come with the expectation of competing for a national championship, and it seems wrong that the last, I don't even know how many years it is, they're just there. They're just playing for a bowl game. It seems like it doesn't seem like it's what the expectation is for Auburn. So I'm curious to see, again, tying it back into the new formatted college football playoff, if this is the type of restructuring that a team like Auburn needs to kind of reestablish themselves as a formidable opponent in the football world to compete for a championship. So I mean, it's always going to start week one, no matter who they're playing, but it's going to be a good tell to be able to see, is Auburn actually going to be able to put something together to be competing all year long? You don't have to demolish teams with this new 12 team playoff. You don't have to be ranked 1 or 2 to have a chance, or ranked top 4 to have a chance. You have to be competitive to the point where you give yourself a chance to make the playoff. If it's not this year, with how, in my opinion, I think this is one of the years where the competition is pretty across the board pretty even. There's not a team or a team that you can say they're a lock in for the national championship. And if you told me any of the top teams could win the national championship, I would believe you. So if it's a year for them to establish themselves as one of those teams that can be a national champion, it has to be this year. If they don't make it, at least seeing something that tells you, we're on the right path with Auburn kind of competing for SEC or national championships, whatever. Some progress is needed out of Auburn this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of question marks in the SEC as it is. I mean, outside of Texas, Billy Napier's still at Florida. What's going to happen there is, Brian Kelly and the Nuss Bus, are they actually going to make a statement this year? And that really is contingent on the defense, and we'll get to that in a second here. Bama, Kalen DeBoer is in his second season.
Mhm.
Alabama standards 9-4. You may as well just finish with an offer. So just based off of what they've experienced over the course of a decade and a half. And so and in Georgia, of course,
Yeah.
and I mean, as long as Kirby Smart's there, Georgia's always going to be in the mix, no
Mhm.
matter who the quarterback is. So, I'm missing teams here, but it is the SEC. There are question marks. There is some not necessarily turnover, but there are some bumps in there,
Mhm.
and so, but I do want to talk. The next game I have, of course, is Texas and Ohio State.
Yes.
That's going to be a fantastic matchup.
Preview
Um,
of a semi-national championship semi-final game, possibly.
uh, could be the last time Texas played Ohio State, Texas that defense shut down
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Smith,
Yep.
but Will Howard and company just like, okay, we'll still beat you by 2 touchdowns. So it's not exactly one of those things where they can just sit there and okay, well we're just gonna take out your top receiver. Okay, great, you can do that. What's crazy about this game is Arch Manning, who has you know um, uh, less just as many college starts as my 9-year-old son has armpit hairs. He's already the front runner for the Heisman. If this guy, if his name was Arch Smith, we wouldn't even be talking about this hype.
No.
It's only
No.
because he's a Manning. That's it. That's the only reason. And you know what? For a good reason. The Manning dynasty. I mean, look, you think about the Mannings, you think about quarterback, and you think about quarterback play, you think about greatness. You just do. No matter what you think about Eli and whether or not he's on the spectrum or not. But the Mannings do come from a great quarterback family.
Yeah.
And Arch Manning having the privilege of being able to have the pressure in leading a Steve Sarkisian led offense, paired with a top tier defense that Texas has, is absolutely something that, undoubtedly so, everyone wants to watch. A big question mark here is, one of them is Julian Sayin. Is he going to be, the answer for this Ohio State offense at quarterback? And what a stat that I saw was first time starting quarterbacks are 0-16 against the number one rated team in the country since 1984. The last quarterback to do that, the first time quarterback to beat the number one ranked team, Jim Harbaugh. So this is going to be interesting. I think another level of intrigue to this is Matt Patricia coming in to take over for Jim Knowles, who went and decided to, and all credit to him, become the highest paid assistant coach, or coordinator in college football, taking Tom Allen's place at Penn State.
Mhm.
It is very interesting
It
to
is.
see how Matt Patricia responds. He hasn't coached at the collegiate level, I think, since he was an assistant, I think from 01 to 03. I think I was at Syracuse.
I mean, he was in New England forever.
Yeah, so this is it is going from Jim Knowles to Matt Patricia is like saying, hey, I want to downsize, so take my Lamborghini and I'm going to get the Honda Civic. But you hope it's reliable, but you haven't really popped the hood yet. I am interested to see how his defense responds to Steve Sarkisian, who is a mastermind when it comes to offensive calls. So him, and then again, Arch Manning coming back full circle. Arch Manning being able to have the ability to be able to play for Steve Sarkisian. I will say the other thing for Texas is they have a beast on defense in Colin Simmons.
Yeah.
And this OSU O-line, there's 4 new starters on this O-line, including new offensive tackles. So if and it always it always spells great things to come when you have a first-time starting quarterback behind a brand new offensive line. That never fails. So I am interested to see just we're not really sure what we're going to see from Arch Manning, but this Texas defense, it was one of the top ranked defenses in the country last year, alongside Ohio State. But Matt Patricia's a question mark. We'll see what happens. What's his play style going to be like at the collegiate level, and then seeing how Arch Manning responds to Sark's offense now that he knows he is the starter. He holds the keys to the Ferrari. Let's see what he does with it.
Yeah, the Arch Manning conversation is something that I wanted to kind of touch on. I almost feel like there might be some unwarranted pressure on him, some unwarranted expectations, and you hinted at the fact that it's simply because of the Manning last name that comes attached to it, to the expectations. But looking at what he has shown so far, he started 2 games with Quinn Ewers was hurt, and he looked okay against, I think it was Mississippi State and some other like lower level SEC schools. He looked pretty good, but there hasn't been like this immaculate presence that he's shown on the field whenever he has been on the field. And I just feel like the hype is more than what we should really be expecting out of him. I think the expectations need to be lowered a little bit. And I'm not saying he's going to be a bust, but I am thinking that it's going to take him a little bit for him to really settle into a Sarkisian offense, or just the overall settling into the quarterback position is an expectation that needs to be kind of put in check for a moment. If we look back at last year, and if we consider how much hype he already had, wouldn't Steve Sarkisian already have been able to see what he needed to see last year to be like, okay, Arch Manning is like the quarterback that we need to go to? He couldn't, for as much as you want to say about like that way the offense is going, at the end of the day, if he would have been that good, he would have beat out Quinn Ewers out of that starting job at any point in the season if they thought they needed a change, if they thought they were wasting a talent on the bench. He couldn't.
I actually think that there's something there. One of the theories that I heard all last year was there's a reason Arch still wasn't starting. And it wasn't necessarily because Quinn was there and they wanted to give all respect to Quinn Ewers. I honestly think that like Sark and the offensive staff saw that there were some deficiencies in Arch's game. And so they wanted to make sure that, they're like, look, Quinn's going to be gone after this season. Let's let Quinn play it out. He can still, take us pretty darn far. And then having Arch to sit on the bench. He played those. He started those 2 games, ULM and Mississippi State. And so it was, kind of in a way, it was a blessing that he was able to step in, because then they were able to kind of see how he would play on the field in game time, and fortunately so, it's against 2 inferior opponents. ULM and Mississippi State. You're not really concerned about those games on your schedule. So having the ability to one, get on the field, show them what you got, and then also now that Arch knows, hey, I don't have to look behind me. I have the keys. I have the key to the city right now, and so I honestly believe it was a really smart decision for Sark not to give into pressure to say, why won't you start the Manning? And Sark, to his credit, didn't come out and say, oh, well, he's not ready yet. No, they kept that under the hood, and they went about it the exact way that you should go about it when you have a young quarterback who is eventually going to take the reins. So having that year last year to really just be a student of the game and to know, hey, you are not the chosen one yet. You will be the leader of the Longhorns eventually, but this year's not your year. Now it's his year. Now we get to see, and we get to see in a really big stage. We talk about Jackson Arnold, kind of let's see how he responds, against, a Dave Aranda defense in Baylor. Arch Manning's going against the top defense in the country last year. So, but it's one of my favorite sayings: pressure is a privilege. So, Arch Manning, here you go. Hey, privilege extended. Are you going to accept the pressure of being the next great quarterback at Texas?
Yeah, the only like pushback that I would give on that is if Quinn Ewers was so good, Quinn Ewers ended up being a 6th, 7th round pick for Miami in the drafts. He wasn't some miraculous quarterback. I understand you want to like let a player develop into a system, but at the same time, do you want to have a player develop into a system just to have him for 1 year? You're not. The goal of college football isn't to develop players for the NFL. The goal of college football is to win championships at the college level. If Arch Manning Arch Manning would have given them the best opportunity to win, like put him in whenever they had the opportunity to win, because they didn't make the national championship. I think both of us expected them to make the national championship. I think that was part of our predictions last year. We thought they had enough to make the championship, and they didn't. But my point being, you are saving a quarterback, sure, to develop, but now you are on his 2nd year with Texas, and you want to save him for 1 good year of really good quarterback play. Like, that's really what we're aiming for here, because if he does really good, he's going to go to the NFL draft, and you're going to say, at least we developed him, and at least we had him for 1 year, and now he's gone to the NFL. Like, that just, it seems to me like it's a little bit of a weird construed system, because I don't know. To me, everything tells me that maybe the hype behind him is a little too high. We need to taper some expectations. He obviously was not the quarterback that they needed him to be last year, because if not, they would have started him. So are we really, especially with the Heisman conversation, like really we want to put him as number 1 for the Heisman winner projections this year based off of what? So there's just, every way that I look at it, there's like conflicting stories. Like he's the projected Heisman winner, but at the same time he wasn't good enough to take the job last year. But at the same time he needed the development. But somehow, because he needed the development, now he's the Heisman winner without doing anything since he developed. I think it's just one of those narrative things. Like obviously you have to build some of that attention, build up the traction behind some of these names just to get the word out there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up not being this miraculous quarterback this year, stays in college another year, and then is the quarterback that they thought he could be. It's just it's giving me weird vibes that I want to kind of pull the brakes on just a little bit for the conversation behind him.
I mean, that would make sense, except for my counter argument is, they signed Carl Lacey Jr. They were able to get him. He's a 4-star quarterback. Some have him as a 5-star quarterback. He was ranked 13th nationally. He's a true freshman this year. So, so if Arch leaves, then you have a guy coming in here who's been raved for his poise and his playmaking ability. And and that Texas quarterback room is deep. I think the only quarterback that will be gone next year, they have one redshirt senior who was a transfer, I think from Troy. Mm-hmm. So it's not all doom and gloom. And look, if Arch Manning does develop and he ends up becoming as great as as most experts say he will, and he ends up winning the Heisman, okay, great. And look, if Arch Manning plays that great and wins the Heisman, then you know what? Texas is probably hoisting the natty at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything here where it's a lose-lose or a
No.
win-lose. I can see a win-win here where, you know what? Okay, Arch, we gave you a shot. Oh, you want to leave? Okay, go ahead and go. Here's the door. We're still set up for the future with or without you. But I don't see that coming to that point right there. There is something about, I know we joked that if his name was Arch Smith, we wouldn't be talking about him, but he is a Manning, and it's in his genes. Okay, he is the Sidney Sweeney American Eagle commercial version of quarterback. So it's in his genes. He's got great genes. So I just
I will eat my words if he is a Heisman Trophy top 3 candidate or a Heisman Trophy winner. I will eat my words as far as the expectations for him. I'm just wanting to not put out there that I am on this bandwagon. I'm wanting to put out there that I am not on this bandwagon for him being this life-changing quarterback this year. Do you want to make a pick on that game? Do you want to pick a winner on the Texas-Ohio game?
Oh, I got Texas.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I got Texas. They're number one nationally for a reason. Nothing against Julian saying, but I there's just too many more question marks for Ohio State. I'm curious to see what Matt Patricia's defensive scheme looks like, how the players respond to him. So those players went balls out for Jim Knowles. So but I don't know what kind of coach, Matt Patricia, how they're going to respond to him. I don't know.
No respect to the national champions. No respect at all. I would, even before our conversation, I was leaning towards Ohio State. They just, if you look at their rosters, everything says Texas is the more well-rounded team, like on both sides of the ball. They had Ohio State, because they were so good, had a lot of turnover. They had some players drafted and everything that comes with the college landscape. I just feel like Ohio State, for the reason that they're national champions, they'll at least win this game. Whether I'm projecting anything more coming out of the season, repeat national champions, that we'll save that for another day. But at least for this game, I feel like a lot of pieces need to fall in place for Texas to win this game, and Ohio State has already shown that they have the program in place for the long-term success, the established success that they've been showing for the last few years. So that's my pick. Do you have what other games do you have?
So I have 3 more here. I have Bama and Florida State. This isn't as much of a marquee game. Really, the big thing here is Ty Simpson is taking over. We know he's going to rely heavily on Ryan Williams, the freakish phenom. I wouldn't be surprised. He was 17 last year. He's probably 16 this year. He probably went down in age. I don't know. But Ryan Williams is a phenom. He is just absolutely unreal. And his ability to elevate any quarterback play is evident. Absolutely going to see it here with Ty Simpson. I bring up this game because, this is a matchup of 2 teams who really experienced in different ways a lot of very underwhelming results.
Yep.
So Florida State finishing 13-1 back in 2023. They were 2-10 last season, which just, it came out of freaking nowhere that they were 2. I didn't even see that coming. That was just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever special sauce that they were ingesting, they need a new recipe. And Bama, of course, Kalen DeBoer, like I said, his second season. Bama was 9-4 last year. I don't see that. I see Bama going probably 10-2, probably 11-1. This Bama squad's just way too talented. Those losses last year, they just took it. It's like, Jerry Jones said, that ball is oblong, but it has a way of just of just finding a space, and so it's weird. Kind of some of those losses, especially that Vanderbilt game, which I really hope the Commodore faithful aren't expecting a repeat, because that is going to be a delicious blowout. Vanderbilt's got no chance. There's no shot in hell an Ice Cube has a better shot in hell. Hell, P. Diddy has a better shot in hell than Vanderbilt does against Alabama. So
We're gonna mark this statement. If it's a close game or if they win this game, I'm gonna run it back and have you eat your words.
you can. That game was it was so bizarre. So look, Alabama's way too talented. I obviously have Alabama beating FSU. And so, but I bring it up just because of it's very underwhelming for both of these schools last year in different ways. If for other teams you finish 9-4, hell, UNM finished 9-4 over the course of one season instead of two. This would be like a great success.
Yes.
But Alabama finishing 9-4 is so underwhelming.
It is.
I see Kalen DeBoer's second season going way better. This dude has too much of a track record for being a winning head coach. For this, this is an outlier to me.
So here's my question to you with the Kalen DeBoer conversation, because there are some conversations probably coming from the Alabama State as a whole that are putting him on the hot seat if he doesn't have quote unquote success this year. And I know you wouldn't say that he should be on the hot seat this year, but what type of result would you have to see for you to start leaning towards, okay, maybe he should be on the hot seat? A 9-5 season, year one of establishing a new program, acceptable. But I know from your perspective, you're expecting progress. So what would it take for you to say maybe it's not going in the right direction and maybe he should be on a hot seat and maybe it's just not going to work?
If they don't make the playoff, I mean, then okay, you're on the hot seat. This I got into it earlier. The SEC is just too wide open. There's a lot of question marks in the SEC. I mean, you got some teams that are just doomed to never succeed, like Texas A&M, and Kentucky's gonna be middle of the pack. Vanderbilt's probably gonna be middle of the pack. OU's gonna be middle of the pack. Maybe we'll see what happens. I don't know.
They're middle of the pack.
There's a lot of talk about a culture change there. So that's kind of if you're and I tend to think it'll be middle of the pack. If your argument for not succeeding so far is you are changing the culture, and that's the headline coming into a new season, then you're going to be middle of the pack. So this is. And then, of course, look, what's Brian Kelly going to do at LSU this year? This is his fourth year now. What's he going to do there? How is Nussbus going to respond? He got the keys to the Ferrari last year. He showed, on the biggest stages, he showed some great things. But the biggest question mark, again, that defense is, I have great faith in the defense this year. But we'll see what happens. And of course, Georgia, Kirby Smart, as long as he's there, doesn't matter who the quarterback is, they're going to be fine. And Texas is, they're number one for a reason. But there should be no reason why Alabama should not at least make the playoff. And if we know anything about the SEC, because we always talk about them, because as much as people like to say, "Oh, it's the Big Ten now," no, zip your pie hole, okay? It's not the Big Ten.
We live in the SEC kingdom.
And so, there's going to be at least 3, probably 4 teams coming into the playoff from the SEC. I would not be surprised. For as many question marks as there are in the SEC this year, there's just that much more optimism and that much more promise coming from the SEC. So if Alabama doesn't make the playoff, I would say hot seat for Kalen DeBoer. Even then, that might be a stretch, because if they go 11-1 and miss it for some accounting error, then that's not on him. Really, the only coach in the state of Alabama that should be on a hot seat is Hugh Freeze. At some point, you got to piss or get off the pot. You got to do something. Kalen's been here for 1 year, and he had an impossible assignment. He took over for arguably the greatest college football coach of all time. So you got to give this man some leash You not a rope to hang himself with. You got to give him some leash because that is an impossible assignment, an impossible one to sit there and say, "Hey, we're going to have Nick Saban level success, and he's not here anymore." No, this isn't a Jerry Jones. 500 coaches can come in here and win a Super Bowl. No, look, Kalen DeBoer is a fantastic head coach. These players believe in him. This program believes in him. Even if they don't make the playoff, I still wouldn't even say hot seat. I'm saying that if they don't make the playoff, I know some heads are going to turn. They're going to want to try to get rid of them. But look, if you win 10 games, 11 games this year, and you don't make the playoff, okay, then something weird happened, okay?
Yeah.
That means Tulane made it. So this just let everybody just cool down. Bama's going to start off just fine against Florida State because you know who plays great football? Alabama does, okay? Bama's not going to respond to Florida State like LSU does, all right? Yeah. So Bama's going to win this football game. We don't have to worry about it. They're gonna get off to a great start.
Do you know the funny thing about this Alabama conversation is that Alabama has such a high expectation for their football program, as if it wasn't that before Nick Saban they were an irrelevant team. Like they had nothing going for that program until Nick Saban came around and he established such a chokehold in the college football world. And now Alabama, the fan base wants to act like no matter who is the head coach for that team, their expectations are national championship. They require a reality check that Nick Saban was the reason that your team was relevant. If not, you would just be another Alabama team. There's some reality that needs to come in within that program. I think it's so funny that they have this, like, lack of better words, entitlement to success in the football program when they forget one coach got them there. Before that, they were really nothing in the college football world.
Yeah. I mean, it's the greatest favor that LSU's ever done for Alabama is Nick Saban went to them second. So there needs to be a healthy dose of realism here.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes you got to come back to the real world. And if 9-4 is your floor, then thank the heavens. Okay, thank the heavens that 9-4 is the absolute worst thing you can think of. Okay, there's fan bases out there that would trade their firstborn, okay, for their college team to go 9-4.
We are in New Mexico, and the random year that New Mexico makes the New Mexico Bowl, which was almost built for UNM to host and be in the game. New Mexico gets excited when they make the New Mexico Bowl at 9 and whatever the freaking winning record is for them. For some of the people that have that type of local college team in their fan base, we're not going to feel too bad for Alabama struggling at a 9-5 season and missing the playoff. There's not too much room for us to be able to relate with them. Give me your last game for the college football this weekend, week 1.
So I have two more games.
Okay.
So real quickly, LSU Clemson, of course.
Yeah, I figured.
This is a huge game. This is not only are LSU's title hopes on the line here as much as Clemson's are. This is an opportunity for LSU to break the 5-game opening day losing streak. So this has got to stop. In the words of Damian Rice, this has got to die. LSU has to win this game. And I know it's in hostile territory. I get it. This is the first LSU Clemson game since Joe Burrow and company demolished Clemson on the national stage for the Natty. But it's not going to be easy. Cade Klubnik is an elite college quarterback, and he's got an elite receiver in Antonio Williams. And like I said at the top, the Tom Allen bone's connected to the Jim Knowles bone. Well, Tom Allen left Penn State to go to Clemson to coach the defense with Dabo Swinney. Tom Allen is, I heard it said, you want tool repair, you go to Tim Allen. You want defensive repair, you go to Tom Allen. Tom Allen is a freaking phenomenal defensive coach, and Clemson is all the better for it. When you got a projected maybe number 1 overall pick is your defensive tackle in Peter Woods, and then you got T.J. Parker playing right next to him on that D line. That is a dangerous front four right there. Now, I will say Clemson's weakness is their safeties, is their backfield. So, R.J. Mickens is not there anymore. And then LSU's wide receiver room was one of those top receiver rooms in the country. You got Aaron Anderson, you got Chris Hilton, you got Barry Brown, Xavier Thomas. I mean, they got weapons galore for Nussbus. Garrett Nussmeier is going to be able to throw for days. And not, you got Caden Durham in the backfield. So this is not like anything where, LSU's offense won't be able to come toe-to-toe with a defense. It's just going to be a matter if they can win the war of the trenches. And if LSU's O-line can hold, then this can be something for Garrett Nussmeier and company to actually succeed. But like I said, the biggest question mark is this defense. We got Jack Pyburn, Bernard Gooden, Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins Jr., and not to mention, this is still DBU. LSU is still DBU. But the big question mark with this defense is how can they respond to a mobile quarterback? Now, K didn't have the best numbers for rushing. I think it was like under 8 yards, whatever, last year whenever he took the ball. That's not huge when it comes to a mobile quarterback, but LSU absolutely flopped when it came to any number of running quarterbacks last year. That was their kryptonite. That was their poison pill. You put a mobile quarterback back there, LSU, that defense is going to fall apart. So this is an opportunity but like I said, LSU's lost 5 straight opening day games. This is an opportunity, and this is probably their strongest opponent that they've played outside of FSU a couple years ago. But Clemson is nothing to sneeze at. Clemson is absolutely ready to play. These players will run through a wall for Dabo. They will run down a hill for Dabo Swinney. So this is going to be, if it wasn't for Texas OSU, I'd say this is the highlight game of the weekend. It's not, but it is prime time. And I'm really excited to see it. I had a nightmare that Clemson blew out LSU. I woke up, I thought it was real, and I was just beside myself. This is no joke. This happened 4 days ago. I woke up on a Sunday morning beside myself because I was like, damn it, they lost again 6 times? But it took me 2 days. It took me 2 days to realize that was just a dream. I thought it happened for 2 days.
Schedule, like the moment you woke up to make sure you didn't miss a final score? Come on.
I was too devastated. I was like, I didn't want to read about it. I'm just like, I watched the game. In my dream, I watched the game. I didn't want to read about it and hear about it. It took 2 days for me to realize it didn't exist. And then
let me say this about the LSU game. I will say now that if LSU loses this game, Brian Kelly, after week 1, should be in the hot seat. It can come from JB that the expectation is way higher for LSU to compete for a national championship, compete for a playoff, be relevant, and it starts with your opening weekend win. And if you can't win just week 1 game where everything is on the table, there is no solidified offense, there's no solidified defense, and Brian Kelly once again loses an opening day, I'm going to say that he should be already on the hot seat for the end of this year.
Oh, I'm not arguing with you at all. I'm not. This has got to be, natty or bust. I mean, LSU is stacked on both sides of the ball. This is a fantastic team they have. And there's absolutely no reason they shouldn't compete. The only problem is that they waited for a year where the talent is so seemingly insurmountable all around them. There's talent all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And question mark with Nussmeier. Question mark with this LSU defense. Are they going to respond appropriately? Is Nussmeier going to take care of the Ferrari?
Yeah.
Last game I have, Notre Dame, Miami. That happens on Monday night.
Yeah,
so,
that's the thing that I have.
Real quick, this is Notre Dame. Of course, they have one of the top running back rooms in the country and a sneaky good wide receiver room as well. But their running backs, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, this is going to be one of those games. And, of course, Miami, who are they starting? None other than Carson Beck. Carson Beck coming from Georgia, going to Miami. And then, of course, C.J. Carr, quarterback for Notre Dame. This is his first game ever. So we'll see what happens here. I'm not a fan of either team, but I am a fan of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
I love tradition, and no two teams can spell tradition in college football pretty much, more than Notre Dame and Miami.
No, I think you're right. I was about to get a sneeze. Excuse me. I think you're right, and I think there's a special attention that needs to be put on Miami because of the Cam Ward departure. It hasn't been that long. I guess in the retrospect, timeline of life, you could say Miami being an established powerhouse of football it's been 10, 15 years, whatever. Cam Ward helped cement that established Miami culture for football. I'm curious to see if they can transition that or carry that over with his departure and see if Miami can continue to build on that program and establish themselves once again as a powerhouse football team. That is what I will be watching on this week, but not just this week, overall in the college football season. I want to see if Miami is actually the real deal, if they're going to be regularly competing for national championships, if they have revitalized their football culture and continue to be a dominant football program. That is my thing for this matchup. And yes, Miami, Notre Dame, we know that Notre Dame was in the championship last year, so I also want to see if they kind of built on what the success they had last year, because no matter whether they made regardless of the fact that they made the national championship last year, there was a lot missing from that team. And I'm curious to see if they were able to build onto that. And week one will be a perfect show against what I think should be a pretty formidable opponent in Miami. So I'll be watching to see where these two teams go from last year's success, relevant success for their programs, into what they're building this year.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting, and I don't think Marcus Freeman gets enough credit what he's done at Notre Dame, and ever since Brian Kelly left, Marcus Freeman is a phenomenal head coach, especially for this Notre Dame team, and there's no doubt this is going to be a very entertaining football game. No doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. With that said, just a programming note, we're already above an hour. So we're going to cut the baseball talk, and we're going to get to the one NFL topic that needs to be discussed. The breaking news today. Manny, would you like to do us the honors?
I would not like to, but I will, in fact, do us the honors of bringing up the breaking news that happened 3 hours before we went onto the episode today. Micah Parsons, after all the back and forth and the quote-unquote contract negotiations that he had with the Dallas Cowboys, has been traded to the Packers for 2 first-round picks and 1 29-year-old defensive tackle. And I cannot put to words how I feel right now, JB. But this is just it. Everything about this deal is just blowing my mind and how this went down. We went from Jerry Jones saying that no, fans should not worry about the negotiations. No, as in his words, don't lose any sleep about this contract negotiations, to Micah Parsons completely shutting down and
We told him not to lose any sleep over because it's going to be resolved pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he could have if he was going to trade Micah Parsons, he could have resolved it way quicker than the week before, exactly a week before their Thursday night opener against the Philadelphia Eagles. So the breaking news is Micah Parsons is now a Packer, and the Cowboys have 2 first-round picks to show for it. JB, before I take up 30 minutes blowing up our podcast, tell me your thoughts.
Well, I'm trying to see. So was it just the 2 picks and the defensive tackle they got?
Yes,
because there was a report that said yesterday the Packers offered 2 firsts, a second, and a 5th. I think.
Yeah, no, that's the crazy part. They somehow Jerry Jones negotiated down to just take 2 picks and Kenny Clark. That's the entire deal for what a generational pass rusher.
Yeah, I wonder if Jerry saw America's Team, the documentary on Netflix, and he recalled his words in his trade with the Vikings when he traded Herschel Walker, and he eventually made that deal. Said if we cut all 5 of these players, we get draft picks. Did he make a deal with the Packers saying if we cut Kenny Clark, we'll get a draft pick instead? So I don't understand this move at all. Micah Parsons, for everything you can say about him in the playoffs, he's just turned 26.
Yes.
He is arguably the best defensive player in the league. And
top 3 for sure. Top 3 for sure.
It's just, for being 26, it's unheard of. It's unreal. This dude is a generational disruptor. And so just to only get this in return is, Jerry is
let me give you a comparison that came up today. Like, as the news was breaking, obviously every sports outlet is talking about it because it's just unbelievable that this trade happened. Let me give you a comparison trade that we can discuss. Russell Wilson, when he went to Denver, got traded from Seattle, and this is the package that Seattle received for just Russell Wilson. They received Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, a 2022 first-round pick, a 2022 second-round pick, a 2022 fifth-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick. For Russell Wilson on the decline of his career, they got 5 picks and 2 players, and Jerry Jones said, you know what, I can do you one better. Give me 2 first-round picks, and we'll call it a good day.
Hold my Pepsi.
Hold my Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, this is an abominable.
Let me take over.
If there were ever players he should have traded, it was Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott. Those are the players he should have traded. He should have traded those guys and given Micah Parsons the money.
Okay, first off, the fact that you are willing to trade a generational player after not even getting an extension done, like, that blows my mind. Like, you don't.
Even the Bengals worked out a 1-year deal with Trey Hendrickson.
Yes.
The Bengals.
1-year deal.
Bengals, who were apt at making asses of themselves. Yes. They love doing it. They wake up in the morning and it comes just as naturally as breathing. The Cincinnati Bengals did this. But Jerry, in his 84-year-old mind, or however old he is, he's 85-year-old mind. Barry Switzer was his college coach. Barry Switzer's got a better head on him than Jerry Jones does.
Oh my God. This is everything. So honestly, getting past the fan base of the Dallas Cowboys, like the fan side of my own self being, getting past that, there is honestly a dilemma that I truly have. I'm torn one side, regardless of whether I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Micah Parsons, we can both agree, is, like we just said, one of the top 3 players on the defensive side of the ball in the league. He's so young; he could easily be the top player in the NFL on the defensive side or overall. You don't trade away a player like that. But at the same time, I'm also happy that it happened because it goes to show that a player that has allowed he's very vocal about what he believes, stood his ground, demanded a trade from the Dallas Cowboys. And in Jerry's world, that is not a thing players do. The loyalty is so deep for the organization that he can keep any player that he wants to because everybody wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. So I'm torn because you don't trade away a player, but at the same time, I'm actually very happy that Micah Parsons stood his ground and got traded to a team that now is a Super Bowl, like one of the top 2-3 picks to make the Super Bowl.
Not only that, those first round picks are going to be low.
Yeah, 27, 28 to 32. Yeah, it's not.
That's a level that a limbo bar can't even reach. That is super low. I mean, like a midget couldn't even win that limbo contest. It's so low. It's ridiculous.
It is
that if you were going to do that, at least get more picks.
Yes,
why?
Please. But that's the thing. Because he took just 2 first-round picks, it goes to show that it wasn't about him getting market value. It was about Jerry Jones getting to prove his point that he was the final decision maker. It was his organization, and nobody was gonna overshadow his quote unquote his football team. So it's really not even surprising because we have seen this a brewing. Like we've seen the fact that Jerry Jones cares more about the image that he puts about himself, not even about his team, about himself and how much power he portrays to every sports world the entire sports world as a whole. Yeah. He cares more about how he looks. So this is the perfect representation of the fact that Jerry Jones cares more about his pride. He cares more about his ego, cares more about his image than actually making a successful football team. So if you really look at it, he's just sending a message that nobody is better than him. Nobody's going to tell him what to do. He's the ultimate decision maker. And if you try strong arming him, his response is going to be, I'll show you. I don't really need you. And then I saw his press conference after the fact, after the trade happened. And he said that the reason he traded him away was because the Dallas Cowboys needed to focus more on stopping the run, which blows my mind because you could argue that if you would have kept Micah Parsons and then traded for a really good defensive tackle, but now you have nothing and a 30-year-old defensive tackle. So
Micah Parsons is only going to stop the quarterback.
Yeah, he's only good at pass rush.
They're working about stopping the run game.
Yeah.
You're not following along with the logic here, man. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about this.
If you don't have a pass rusher, all you have to focus on is the run game. But then the part that I think was more telling was that he was talking about Micah Parsons, and he 4 times he referred to him as Michael Parsons. So he's just taking these jabs at how little he cared about his player and how much it was more about him and how he was going to prove his point. And just not knowing your top player's first name or purposely calling him by the wrong first name just tells you everything you need to know about the way that Jerry Jones is operating his franchise. Yeah. Everything about this deal just screams Jerry Jones, across the board. I will do what I want because this is my team, which is why an 85-year-old GM owner should not be making decisions. I will ask you, JB, would you trust an 85-year-old to run any type of organization anywhere in the world besides Congress? Would you trust an 85-year-old anywhere?
I don't trust him in Congress. I don't even trust an 85-year-old behind the fake wheel of a car. You know how they have those wheels for the children? You know, remember what Marge had? What Marge had in the Simpsons car? Yeah. Was that the baby's name? Marge?
Marge is the mom.
What was the baby's name?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Anyways, it's the baby.
Yeah, it's like what the baby had in the Simpsons car when she's going honk honk. I don't even trust an 85-year-old man to do that. So it is, and I wonder how long ago Stephen Jones gave up arguing with his father. So, like, even when they brought in Deion Sanders, he's like, we don't have to pay him this much. We can start lower. You know, we don't have to. Like, this is the same owner who haggled over $3.5 million with Emmitt Smith, the greatest running back of all time. And he's just throwing $35 million at Deion Sanders. So clearly this man, even when he was 50, was not all there. And at least he was winning Super Bowls. At least they were winning. At least that was happening. But he couldn't even, and that was the funniest part. He's like, all I can give you is $10 million. Well, you couldn't give $10 million to Derrick Henry? Like what? I mean, he would have made less money than Emmitt Smith did on a contract that today's money was way inflated. So clearly there's look. I love what Jerry has done, like just as a
like an entrepreneur,
as a changer of football. I love what he has brought into football as an owner. You know, just the fight, being able to have rights to your own logo, sell your stadium name, have sponsors, whatever. He is definitely just a game changer there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, and then even with him with the Cowboys and him, doing what he did, rightly or wrongly, I know, he said, "Hey, Tom Landry, just get the hell out of here. I'm bringing Jimmy Johnson in. Oh, Jimmy, you won me 2 Super Bowls? Get the hell out of here. I'm bringing in a retired man." This is, it's just, there's something the signs have always been there.
Yeah.
The signs have always been there for Jerry Jones. And as much of a force for change he's been for the NFL, what he's done with his football team, I wonder how long ago Steven stopped just fighting with him.
Yeah.
And I wonder if now he's just putting sleeping pills in his bologna sandwiches. I'm just like, maybe he's just...
He should have put 3 doses this morning before Jerry Jones traded away Micah Parsons.
It's just, it's hard to fathom.
It's
hard to fathom. Man who developed a heart arrhythmia at the age of 50, and then now he's still the GM and the owner of the Cowboys. What's happening here?
Yeah.
This is elder abuse. Okay? Roger Goodell should be sued for elder abuse. Okay? He's allowing this owner to walk around and own a team. And maybe, honestly, here's my theory. Maybe this is the NFL's way of getting back at Jerry Jones. Because Jerry won the lawsuit all those years ago. They're like, okay, just you wait. We're biding our time. You're gonna get old, and we're just gonna let you destroy the only thing that means anything to you. We're gonna let you do that. That's how we win.
This is why hierarchies make so much sense. When the decision maker and the owner is one person and there's no stopgap in making a bad decision, this is the type of crap that happens. And it makes me wonder. There was a news article that came out that apparently Jerry was fighting some type of cancer, and he went through some experimental drug that cleared his cancer. I'm wondering if he's actually has some weird things going on in his brain as residual of either the treatment or the cancer that's just making him make really dumb decisions. It doesn't make sense to me that you would pull this type of deal at this time, a week before kickoff, for a player that you need. Everything about this deal just blows my mind. That is just this is what I'll say. My last thing on this. Jerry Jones, I gave him one strike. I don't remember what the first strike was, but I know I gave you one strike at the end of last year. I think it was some dumb comments that you made about Mike McCarthy at the end of the year. This is your strike 2. I am this close, JB, to just...
He's strike 3 because he said, I'll win at all costs, and he couldn't give Derrick Henry $10 million. I think this is strike 3.
It should be. But I am like... this close. I am a feather's thickness away from just jumping ship from cheering for the Cowboys until Jerry Jones sells a team or he passes away. I am so close. I'm over having to deal with Jerry Jones's drama. If I got a good reason to not cheer for the Dallas Cowboys until Jerry Jones was no longer the GM, I would take it in a heartbeat. In this season, I have no reason to believe that the Cowboys are going to have any type of success this year. So I won't be cheering for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll be following what they do for just the sake of knowing what's going on with them because they're still my team. But if somebody gave me a good reason to cheer for a different team, I might jump ship. It is so tiring as a fan to follow what this man decides to do with this organization. That's my soap opera.
Well, that's it. We're done. We are done. Manny, what were you drinking?
I finished off my bottle of Texas bourbon. It was very good. I had forgotten how good it was. It went down really well. It was very neat. Yeah, it was good. What'd you drink? What'd you smoke?
I was drinking some Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
And then smoking a Social Club. I believe this was one of their Gordos, but from the New Orleans Cigar Factory.
Nice.
And I was doing another fantasy draft.
Oh, yeah.
During this podcast.
An update.
This around, and it auto-picked Jalen Hurts and Devontae Adams for me, which I don't hate.
No,
I don't hate that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will give an update on my team on our joint league. I've already put 2 of my players on reserve on IR.
All right, folks. This is the end of the episode. We were not able to get to everything we wanted to get to. We had a lot to cover with college football. But college football, look, like it or not, even me as a baseball diehard, college football is the air we breathe. Okay, we've been waiting for this. This is it. This is the exact opposite of when you fall asleep and your wife says, "Hey, I have questions." This is what we've been looking forward to since January. So take a listen. Box Scores and Bourbon, full episodes, video, audio, TikTok, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, additional content at BSP Sports, at TikTok, X, and Instagram. And give us a like, give us a follow, drop a comment. Let us know what your game of the of week 1 is for college football. Let us know. Leave us a comment, drop a line, and until next time, folks, stay thirsty.
Cheers to everyone but Jerry Jones.